why don't we power rank the SEC teams? And we did that last week, and I think we all admitted that it is not a particularly easy exercise, especially in the 4 to 10 range, 4 to 9, something like that. 3 to 9, 3 to 10. You decide what range. But we had some fun doing that, and we said we should update those each week. So let's do our updated SEC power rankings. Last week we kind of started at the bottom and worked our way up. Let's just start at the top and work our way down this week. In my mind, Georgia not only is still the number one team, but they distance themselves from everybody else in that number one ranking in terms of being the best team in the SEC with their performance last week against Kentucky. They reminded us that there is another gear. And for the first time all season long, they downshifted into that gear last week against Kentucky.
Yeah, at the moment, there's no discussion to be had.
No.
You know, I was thinking about this yesterday. To me, there are a lot of people that are looking at that November 11th game between Ole Miss and Georgia. And they're going, hey, that may be the biggest challenge they've got left on their schedule. To me, there's a reason to be concerned about that game if you're Ole Miss. And I'm not saying it's a lost cause or anything like that. But Georgia seems to thrive on getting into a game where people start saying, well, they could lose this one. Well, I mean, Georgia might be vulnerable here. And then all of a sudden they take it to a different level. You think about last season. You remember that game when Tennessee came to Athens? And people were so fired up about that Tennessee-Georgia game. Now, the final score was not as lopsided as the performance was in the rain. Georgia dominated that football game. And whatever thoughts you had about, okay, could Tennessee get them this year, quickly evaporated as that game unfolded. So that's I don't think if you're Ole Miss, you want to hear a whole lot of that leading up to the Georgia game during that week. Oh, is this the time? Ole Miss, red hot. Offense playing at a really high level. Just be real quiet. You want Georgia to look at that game the way they looked at the road trip to Missouri a year ago. Just show up. And then maybe you kind of catch them off guard. All right, number 2. Alabama. Clear. We had Alabama at 2 last week. I don't think they did anything to change that.
No debate.
Agreed, 100%.
No debate.
No debate where, yeah.
All right, number 3. I wrote down Ole Miss at 3. Am I wrong?
I'm not going to debate you on that. That's where they are right now.
Should there be any debate? Okay, so let's think about who else you would put into that category. In the East, you got Kentucky, who just got thumped by Georgia. You got Florida at 4-2 overall, 2-1 in the league. Missouri just lost at home to LSU. I mean, Tennessee, 4-1, 1-1. No Brew McCoy anymore. In the
If
West,
Tennessee wins this weekend, they might have a case.
Okay, if they beat A&M at home, yeah, I certainly would listen to that.
Yeah.
In the West, you've got LSU, who clearly has problems on the defensive side. They have lost 2 games.
I like what Chase said. He said he would rank LSU's offense in this spot.
You might rank LSU's offense first or second.
Brother, LSU's offense is 1-1 in the United States of America.
Yeah.
But there is that whole defense and special teams thing. A&M's got 2 losses. They just lost at home to Alabama. Ole Miss has only lost to Alabama. They have a win over LSU. I mean, I think just kind of based on what we've seen, it makes the most sense.
That's why, and I was talking about this with somebody earlier today, that the parallels between last year's Ole Miss team and this year's Ole Miss team just don't exist. There's resume. There are data points that they have been tested at this point. So, I mean, maybe A&M beats them here in a few weeks. Hell, maybe they go to the Plains and lose. I don't know. But from what we know today and what the resume says today, I don't think you can formulate an argument that would put them anywhere other than third. I'm sure that there are Tennessee people that would say Tennessee's better. But that wouldn't be rooted in objective fact. Now, of course, things change. It's college football. Things change every week. But right now, I don't think there's a counter-argument to that selection.
Who's number 4? This is where it gets interesting.
This is where it's probably Tennessee.
You know what I think it is? Even though I understand why you wouldn't put them there? Texas A&M.
I actually wrote down LSU as number 4.
So 3 different opinions.
You know what, though? I know they're really bad on defense, but my gosh, when you have Daniels and those weapons and the ability to score that much, it's hard to be lower than that.
LSU's 3-1 in conference play. They have a road win at Mississippi State. They have a road win against what was an undefeated Missouri. They have a road loss to Ole Miss, and their home win is against who? Who'd they beat at home?
LSU's home win is Arkansas. Yeah.
They beat Arkansas at home.
When Sam Pittman decided to just play hard-nosed defense when he had no timeouts and a minute left, and LSU had first and goal.
Yeah. I've got LSU 4, Tennessee 5, Texas A&M 6.
We'll learn those 2 this weekend.
Yeah, those could easily flip. All right, we'll pick this up at number 7 on the other side of this time. All right, let's get back to our power rankings in the SEC. So we have made it through 6 with some disagreement, but not like vehement disagreement. Georgia, Bama,
No.
Ole Miss at 3, LSU 4, Tennessee 5, A&M 6. Some of us think that LSU should perhaps be a little bit lower, and we all are in agreement that that Tennessee A&M 5-6 spot is up for grabs with those 2 teams playing against each other this weekend. I've got Kentucky at 7 still. Kentucky at 7, Missouri 8, Florida 9.
Missouri play this week,
3.
so
yeah,
we'll get that squared away. This week is going to square away a lot of our power rankings. I like that.
Yeah.
So I don't have an issue with what you – and Florida, do you have South Carolina at 10?
I do have South Carolina at 10.
So that they play each other too. So,
yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
I keep wondering as I watch this Florida team, and I think we all are like, yeah, Florida's not very good. But I don't know if they're all that bad either. Like, okay, Florida beat South Carolina this weekend. Surprised? Not at all. Florida loses to Georgia in the cocktail party. Surprised? Nope. They beat Arkansas at home. They lose at LSU. They beat Missouri. They lose to Florida State. That's 7-5. And considering some of the issues that Florida's got, I don't know if that's terrible, but they better start moving forward after that. And then you're like, well, what if they beat LSU? Because that's a weird. Okay, now they're 8-4 with just kind of like an average football team. I don't know. Florida's interesting to me. Bottom 4. Auburn, Arkansas, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt.
Yeah, that's the order, too. That's the order right now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so 1 through 14. Wow. Georgia 1, Alabama 2.
ESPN would hate us, by the way. Absolutely hate us.
Oh,
we did the whole SEC power. We didn't scream. We didn't yell. I didn't name call. It was all pretty civil, and we agreed on most of it.
We got to do that thing that Josh Pate does and like have this weird rankings that you have to listen to the nuances of one show 6 weeks ago to understand why he puts Texas ahead of Oklahoma after Oklahoma beat Texas. We start doing stuff like that. Just be totally nonsensical. And then when you guys don't think it makes any sense, blame you. For us not making any sense. That's what we should do.
Georgia 1, Bama 2, Ole Miss 3, LSU 4, Tennessee 5, A&M and Kentucky 6 and 7, and then 8 through 14, Missouri, Florida, South Carolina, Auburn, Arkansas, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt.
There it is.
Who in the bottom 8, the bottom 7, so 8 through 14, could finish the year in the top 7?
The winner of Missouri, Kentucky.
Yeah. Yep, that's the answer.
All right, so you want to flip 7 and 8. Okay.
Well,
but higher than that.
Answer,
like they could make an ascension. I don't think Missouri's a bad team, man. I really don't. Look, if their quarterback doesn't have 2 brain farts, and they happened, and they lost, but he threw for, 410 yards?
Mm-hmm.
He was having a great day. Made 2 bad decisions, and that cost his team. But Missouri's certainly not bad. I mean, I don't think they're beating Georgia.
All right, so here we go. Missouri is currently 5-1 at the halfway mark. Here's their remaining schedule. At Kentucky, hosting South Carolina, at Georgia, hosting Tennessee, hosting Florida, and at Arkansas. They can win against Kentucky.
Absolutely.
They can beat South Carolina.
They'll be favored by a touchdown or more.
Last year, notwithstanding, they're not losing. They're not beating Georgia. They'll have Georgia's full attention this year. The last time Tennessee was in Columbia, I think they scored 80, and I think they've got a chance to score one more time before the clock hits 0. But this is a better Missouri offense than they had a couple of years ago when that happened.
No doubt. And Joe Milton, man.
They can win at home against Florida?
Absolutely. By
the way, chance that it's going to be well below 50.
Yeah. Shout out Dan Mullen. Joe
and
Milton
they can win at Arkansas.
They absolutely can. And what will Arkansas be by then? Who will be coaching Arkansas at that point? Will it be Enos?
Nah. But look, you want to point to the biggest issue with Arkansas? It's the staff that Sam Pittman built to replace the staff that was really, really good initially.
Yeah, that is correct. That is the correct answer to that.
I mean, replacing Kendall Briles with Dan Enos.
If you're going to do the CEO coach, and Orgeron did the same thing, right? He replaced Joe Brady and Dave Aranda with Steve Emsinger and Bo Pelini. Can't do that. If you're going to have the CEO coach, he's got to have elite coordinators with him. So that's on Pittman. Hire a better staff.
And it's hard to do. I mean, it's hard to replicate what he had with Kendall Briles and who's the defensive coordinator? Former Missouri coach. Why can I never remember his name? Barry Odom. It's hard to replicate. But, I mean, to me, hiring Dan Enos as your offensive coordinator is akin to hiring Mike Bobo at Mississippi State as your offensive coordinator. It's the same thing. And look, I mean, I know that I understand that Georgia was good offensively last week. I get it. It only took 6 weeks to see it.